Dave Parody here with another slide makeover video podcast based on the ideas in my book, The Visual Slide Revolution. Today's slide, it's actually two slides, comes from a training session for managers, supervisors that I reviewed recently. Let me show you the two slides that I saw. So here's slide number one. And what it's talking about is explaining to people what over-supervising looks like or it consists of. And then the next slide is what under-supervising consists of. And we've got each of the points that they would talk about in this particular workshop. Now, okay, we need to talk about over and under supervising so they recognize it and they can deal with it, but here are some of the problems I see. First of all, when we are comparing two things that are related, the audience will lose context if we split it between two slides. See, in this case, they don't know, okay, under supervising, now how much should I go away from that, and when do I hit over supervising? Because it's not on the same slide, they lose context. Secondly, a visual would be really helpful to add to the meaning of over and under supervising because we want to see it in addition to hear what it's explained. And you'll notice those animations were a little not quite what I would want to use. They sort of fade on. It's hard. People are trying to read it, but it's not quite on yet, and then they've got to wait. And as a speaker, you're waiting for it to come on. So let me show you the slide that I redesigned for this particular set of two slides. So what the key headline here is avoid over or under supervising. That's what we want them to do. Not just explain what it is, but avoid doing it. So we start with over supervising. And I bring on the title over supervising and this visual. And the visual really shows people, oh yeah, that's what over supervising is you know, it's focusing on the how rather than what and the other ideas. It's the command general barking at the staff. And then under supervising, again, a visual, well, not really directing the work. So it's not getting done in the other points. So you can see that the audience can now compare the two. They have a visual that gives them a real clue of where sort of the ends of the spectrum are. And the headline tells them avoid either end of the spectrum. It's good. You need to know what the two ends of the spectrum are, but where you want to live is somewhere in the middle that is neither over supervising nor under supervising. So some lessons when you're doing comparisons. First of all, the audience needs to have context. So you need to put both elements of the comparison. Now it could be a timeline, so it could be last year and this year, last quarter, this quarter. It could be, in this case, over supervising, under supervising. Put them on the same slide so that people have context and they understand and can compare because they see both of them. Build it as you're going to explain it. Now, the reason I say this is because in the sample slide today, we wanted to talk totally about over supervising first and then under supervising. But it may be in a comparison where you are talking about first an element in the first list and then the same element in the second list and go back and forth between the lists. So be very careful the way you're building it because that will drive how you explain it. And again, if you don't build it right and explain it right, people lose context. And finally, add visuals to enhance their understanding. You see the pictures that I added really brought out the whole topic of over and under supervising, and it was very clear to people exactly what it is I was talking about. Now they understand it, they remember it, and they will recognize it in themselves when they are doing either of those two behaviors. So this has been another Slide Makeover video podcast. If you want more information on the book, the ideas that influence what I do in these slide makeovers, go to www.visualsliderevolution.com. And for more information on my training, consulting, and the other learning resources that I have available, you can go to www.ThinkOutsideTheSlide.com. Again, this is Dave Parody and another Slide Makeover video podcast.